Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Living on Lemonade podcast. Happy Monday. And my apologies for the late posting of this podcast. It is Monday evening. I try to have the episodes scheduled so that they go out at midnight on Monday, but I was having too much fun yesterday. We went out on the boat for a bit of a river cruise, and then I went over to my friend slash Norwex teammate's house to help her place her order. And we just got chatting and had a really nice catch up as it had been too long. So I was kind of trying to do the balance thing. And by the time I checked the clock, it was like, oh, I guess I guess I'm recording tomorrow. I just started a stretch of 6 shifts. So I'll be doing 4 day shifts and 2 nights. Yeah, so that's gonna keep me a little bit busy and make the whole balance and soul tool belt even more relevant over the next few days going into the long weekend. We're approaching Labor Day weekend here in Canada, and then back to school for all the kiddos. So hopefully work should slow down a little bit. Anywho, let's dive into the today's topic. I wanted to, as I mentioned in the last episode, I wanted to talk about brain dumps because I had recently done a wicked awesome brain dump. And I wanted to just talk about it in terms of not only for your business or if you're a creative and an entrepreneur and are kind of doing all the things, but just in general, if you have, and I'm just pulling up my journal to show you, but if you have a lot going on, I call it like squirrel brain or monkey mind. And it just feels like there's a whole lot going on in your brain and everything's kind of spinning around and you don't really know what's what. And you want to just find your bearing and get back on your course and have things just, it's very, one of the other words I use to describe it is airy fairy. Like when I feel a little bit just kind of overwhelmed and like, holy crap, that's my, that's my cue that I need to do some grounding. And I have for way too long, longer than I want to admit, had all these ideas swirling around in my brain. I've been doing some personal development, some courses, and through that, just like um taking in a lot, ingesting a whole lot of stuff, and I'm like slowly digesting it and what's the word? Embodying it, I guess you could say. But in the meantime, it's giving me ideas of things that I want to teach or expanding on topics I already want to teach. But for the last few weeks, all the ideas have just been swirling around in my brain. And to be honest, for me, when that happens, is I don't really get anything done in terms of like whatever those thoughts are around because they're all just rolling around in my brain. They don't really have a place to go. There's no inspired action because it's all jumbled up. So what I did not long ago is I sat for like probably 2 hours maybe. I don't know. It was a while. And I just started writing and I just started writing out my thoughts, my ideas, and it doesn't matter. Like, don't, if you're thinking about doing this, don't worry about it being in order or anything like that. Who cares? Just get it out on paper because there's two things that'll help you with. One, you're just going to have some clarity and some like, you're going to make room in your brain and in your mind, and you'll feel a lot just less it'll feel less chaotic. It's like, oh, there's a relief there. And then two, once it's on paper, you can read it back and then you can start organizing it. And I'll tell you a little bit of life experience for me. So when I studied photojournalism in college, if you don't already know that, and afterwards I did freelance for the community paper in the hometown that I worked at. And I can tell you there's no we can't we can't decide or turn off our writer's block when it happens, and we can be on a deadline. And there's been many times where I've had a story on deadline. I have to have it written that night and submitted for my editor for the next morning, and it's like, holy crap, I have writer's block 100%. So what I used to do is I just start writing a sentence. I listened back to all the interviews and stuff, how to transcribe, blah blah blah, have some quotes, but just writing a sentence, couple sentences. Maybe I scrap them later, maybe I don't. And in terms of like trying to get a catchy hook, the hook was often the last thing I wrote. But just like the idea is get some stuff down on paper, and it ends up opening up that creative flow, that you're opening a door. And then the idea is once you kind of get some of that clutter out of the way, like out of the walkway, then you can like see down the path, and then it's like, okay, there's a clear pathway for you, and the ideas will start to flow. And that's how I found what really worked for me when I was a photojournalist. And now with more creative side and having kind of multiple businesses and ideas and things that I want to train on, both in, the Living on Lemonade community. And now I started, if I haven't mentioned it yet, my friend Michelle and I started this group called No Hustle Sales for Network Marketers, because I think there's really we have a lot of friends that are just kind of uninspired and burnt out from COVID. So we're just trying to like take a little bit of a step back and reevaluate things, build up our foundation of our business again, and then really tap into that kind of mind, body, soul connection and make sure that the three are working really well together. And part of this is doing brain dumps. So when you have a lot of thoughts swirling around in your mind, just start writing. Doesn't have to make sense even at first. So I can tell you, this is my journal that I'm working on right now, if you're watching the YouTube channel, because I this isn't on YouTube yet, but it's on my list to make a YouTube channel. So this video version of the podcast will eventually be in video form, which I'm super excited about. So I literally just opened it. I put journal of ideas for content, trainings, and programs for the Living on Lemonade community and the No Hustle Sales for Network Marketers group. So it's like, this is just ideas. It's a whole journal of ideas. And I just started writing. I looked back on some notes from courses that I took to get more like solid ideas and stuff. But I wrote like 16 pages of stuff in one go. And I felt incredible after. And you know what was really interesting is the initial idea going into this was, I want to create a program for network marketers, like an intro program to start helping them tap in and build that foundation under their business that isn't necessarily talked about, more of like the energetics and learning how to kind of tap into their intuition, what a yes and no feels like in their body, so that they're making decisions based on their values and what feels good and exciting. So when they're trying new things, it's not because I think they should try the new thing. It's because they're super lit up, because there's an energy behind that we all feel, right? When people show up authentically and with true desire and passion with what they're doing. So I want to be able to teach that. And through the brain dump, not only did my head clear of all the clutter that was swirling around, but the name of the course came to me. I got a name of the course. It just popped right in, and some more information about it. So I was really, really excited. And I haven't actually really talked about this too much. I will be announcing it tomorrow night. So if anyone listens to this before Tuesday night, when I deliver the Spring into Action free masterclass for network marketers, you'll have a little bit of a sneak peek as to what's up my sleeve and what I've been kind of hinting about. So yeah, I don't plan on droning on too long, but that was just, I really want to talk about brain dumps. They're so beneficial. Get your ideas on paper, clear your mind. It'll probably help you sleep better too. And then you can start to rework them. Like I said, when I was in journalism, I just had a bunch of sentences and paragraphs and quotes, and then I would just I was typing it out on a computer, so it was easier to move around. But in your journal, just write the things out, go crazy, spend a couple hours. And when you get really into that creative flow, then the other things that maybe you wanted to, like I said, I wanted to create this program, and the name came in. So it's really neat how once you kind of open that door, create some space in your mind, those intuitive hits can come through as well. So I'm going to record another podcast tonight as I'm on the go. It's about 8:30 p.m. I gotta go to bed for our day shift, But before I do that, I'm going to record another one. That way I'm not late because I am working like all through the long weekend and I do want to have some downtime. So I'm going to be proactive this week. And in terms of what's coming up, there is a masterclass on, I don't know why I cannot keep it in my brain. I want to say just give me 1 second. September 7th. I keep wanting to say the 6th, but I have something the 6th. September 7th, Thursday, September 7th at 8 p.m. in the Living on Lemonade group, Facebook group. The masterclass is called Jolted. We're going to talk about triggers, if you've heard that term, what they are, what they look like, what they feel like, why we have them, and how to start creating awareness. I feel like everything, there's just mindfulness around everything, right? When we start to incorporate mindfulness in all facets of our life, that's where the healing and the curiosity and stuff starts to take place without all the heaviness, right? Okay, so that's coming up. Other than that, if you're not in the Living on Lemonade Facebook group, I'll put it in the show notes. Would love to have you come hang out with us. I've got more stuff planned for the fall, so keep an eye and ear out for that. And in the meantime, I hope you're having a wonderful day or whatever time of day it is that you're listening. And we'll see you inside the next episode. Goodbye, everyone.